A lot of people are their own worst enemies. A lot of people's own inner thoughts, a lot of people's own inner anxiety, a lot of people's own discouragement and comparison are their own worst enemies. They don't realize it's like you're not hurting them by thinking like that. You're only hurting yourself. I think I'm chasing my own self-respect. Chasing validation is going to be the thing that gives you all of the negative thoughts. It's going to be the thing that gets your ego hurt. It's going to be the thing that honestly ruins you, right? You should never be doing things for other people's opinions, but a lot of the times you can get caught up in that in the social media world.
So why do you think so many talented people with that belief still fail?
Dude, it's interesting because
what's going on with you and Sabrina? I want you to tell the truth. Don't hold back on me. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, I know. I get it. A lot of people are asking and stuff. I would say
Jadyn Violet.
It's good.
Welcome back, baby.
It's good to be back, bro. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, brother.
Of course.
Thank you for coming by, dude. I expected you to be in LA for the next 10 years. What happened? Why are you back in Jersey?
A lot of things happened. I think one, I came back to surprise my family. I think I was missing them a lot. I know I was missing them a lot. So we did this cool thing on stream in LA where my chat chose where to spend my last paycheck, and they chose to spend it for a one-way ticket back to New Jersey to surprise my family. I came back. It was beautiful. I saw my grandma. I saw my mom. And then I ran into an issue, weirdly, coincidentally, on January 1st, where I got into some legal trouble. I'm fighting a case currently, so I'm not allowed to leave New Jersey until it's resolved. So I'm in New Jersey for the foreseeable future, but it's good to be back. It's the best state in America. So it's good to be back in the studio.
I have to ask, you can't leave New Jersey. What's the case about? What did you do? What's keeping you here?
I try being as transparent as possible. Obviously, my community is asking for what happened, and I would, love to tell people. My whole thing is to be very transparent, whether it's like the things that I'm earning or the things that are happening to me right now. I was recommended to not talk about it. It's not that I can't. I was recommended to not talk about it. So, right now, I'm not allowed to talk about what happened, or what the case is, what the charges are, but. Everything is going, smoothly. I have an amazing team right now. And once it's all resolved, I'll definitely tell everyone. But, for the foreseeable future, I have to, stay. But, everything's going according to plan. So it's good.
Are you happy you get to stay in Jersey, or is it like, damn, plans ruined?
It's crazy. We were talking about this earlier. I think humans have a weird way of confining themselves to the old opinions and perspectives that they used to hold. I was telling you earlier as well, I was listening to a Naval podcast, and, when people are putting their lives on social media, it's particularly hard because when you say something in the past, whether it was a year ago or a month ago, and then you choose to change your perspective on that thing, you choose to change your decision, everyone looks at you and says, okay, we got him, oh, he's a fraud. Like, oh, he's not, staying true to his word. He's contradicting himself without, understanding. And a lot of the times I looked at myself like that we're humans, right? And, as a human, your opinion changes, right? Your perspective changes. And, transparently, I'm really happy to be back in Jersey. I'm very excited. I think being in New Jersey, I feel more at home. I feel mentally better seeing my family. I'm able to be more consistent. I'm able to be in my, schedule. And I've realized that I really don't like LA,
How come?
So yeah. Where do I begin with LA? I think Los Angeles is interesting. I think.
Hold up, don't sugarcoat this either. I don't want you to sugarcoat it because of some connections you might have made or be afraid to lose them. Tell me the truth. Was it the people were whack as hell, fake as hell? Like, what was really going on? What were you feeling,
Yeah, I think LA's ass. I think a lot of people think that they need to go to LA in order to make it, when in reality you can make it wherever you are. Don't get me wrong, going to LA definitely has helped me a lot in my career. I don't regret it because I feel like living in a, mindset of regret is just a losing mentality. But I don't like the city that much in LA, right? Like growing up, I've always liked busyness. I've always liked, things happening. And LA, there's not really one spot where like a lot of stuff is happening, right? Like you can't really go to a street and like it's super busy. It's like if you know, and that's how you go to all the events. That's how you go to all the functions and meet people. You go to New York, any single street you go to is filled with people, filled with fun, filled with noise. And I just like that more. So like from a city perspective, I enjoy things that are busy a lot more, and LA is the complete opposite of that. Two, it was super expensive, right? As a lot of people know, I went to LA with just $1,000. It was really difficult. The situations that we went through there, whether it was couch surfing or living in a shipping container, like the craziest things you could think of, is really difficult to survive. And that surviving mentality played a toll on my mental. So, being back in Jersey, I could feel more at home. I could feel better. And the last thing that I'll say is LA really felt like high school all over again, and it's something that I never enjoyed. It felt like a popularity game, right? It felt like people are trying to climb this, societal ladder. And, honestly, we're all doing that at a certain extent if we're trying to chase our dreams, especially on social media. But over there, it was exponentially more, It felt, too much. It felt, inauthentic. It felt like, to go to like a party, I was telling you before, like you have to like a lot of times submit an Instagram, in order to get accepted to a party. And me as someone that's grinding for his dreams, coming up, from the ground up, I wouldn't say I have all the motion in the world. So it's really difficult for me to get into these places where you would make these connections, etc. So, for those reasons, I think LA's cool. I'll go there again, to visit, of course, for a couple of weeks, whatever. Maybe I'll move there. You never know what's going to happen. You could change your mind, but, it wasn't the most glamorous place.
Did you ever have a moment while you were out there where you were like, damn, I might have up. This was the wrong decision?
Short answer is no. I think everything in your life happens for a reason. I think at the end of the day, the only thing you could do is play the cards that you're dealt with at the current moment and listen to your gut. I think the best thing you could trust is your gut. And my gut told me that I needed to go to LA. My gut told me to take the big risk with your last $1,000 and, drive across the country to go to Los Angeles. And I did it. And I think the things that I've learned there, the lessons that I've learned there, the lessons you learn by being uncomfortable are very important to grow as a person in life, right? Because aside from content creation, aside from streaming music, whatever the case may be, the point in life is to grow as a person, and you can only do that by being in uncomfortable positions. So, LA made me very uncomfortable. A lot of very down bad moments for me personally, but I'm very glad that I went through them, because it made me a stronger person. And I think if any single person who's listening to this right now looks back at the negative moments that they've experienced in their lives, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a death of a family member, you don't look back in regret. You look back in gratefulness that you went through something like that to make you a stronger person. So yeah.
I want to ask you, what toll does that take on you mentally? Because you said it earlier when we talked about it off the podcast. It takes a big mental toll, like couch surfing, sleeping in other people's house for a week, not having a stable place of living if you're going to be here for the next month or two, and then not knowing when it's going to come. Like, you didn't have a certain date that I'm going to move into my apartment, let's say January 31st. How did that feel? What toll did that take on you while you were out there?
I think if you live with uncertainty, that means you don't have it. I think the definition of manifesting is knowing that you already have it. Not knowing that it's going to come, but knowing that you already have it and reality has to catch up. I think going through myself sleeping in the couch, me and my cameraman, struggling when it comes to food, when it comes to just, things not working out from a reality standpoint, right? Like the things are not materializing. I'm not seeing the numbers in my stream. I'm not seeing this, that, and the third. It's hard for me to succumb to these discouraging thoughts, because then it completely contradicts my manifestation of knowing that I have it. So although we were going through terrible experiences from the outside looking in, internally, I've always known with certainty that it is going to work out. Whether it's me being in LA and a crazy opportunity happens, or whether it's something as crazy as me coming back to Jersey, having to fight a case and, it happening 3 months later, I know it's going to happen. And I think having this delusional confidence is something that I always try sticking, close to my heart, because it's the thing that's going to benefit me. It's going to be the thing that gets me up in the morning. So yeah, that's kind of how I got through it,
You speak a lot about manifestation. Even on the last episode we did, you really spoke life into yourself, even throughout the episode. But do you think people use that sometimes as an excuse instead of doing the real work?
My entire life, I was very hard work oriented. I was always like, okay, I put X amount of hours in, I should be getting Y out, and I was going into that always thinking that this idea of manifestation, affirmation was kind of like Delulu, you know, it was kind of just like for people that didn't want to work hard, that, you know, for people that use that as an excuse to not do the things that they know they're supposed to do. What I've realized now is that you need a combination of both, right? You need to work hard, you need to do the actions, but the idea of knowing and manifesting is going to be the thing that convinces you to do the actual action. So a lot of people don't know what manifestation is. I mean, a lot of people do, but they don't actually understand it. And I'll give you a perfect example. And, you know, my cousin, Sai, he's the one who actually told me this. The perfect example that made manifestation click for me. I actually just made a video on this. And when I heard this, it made me believe in manifestation. It made me understand it, right, as a concept. So basically how it works is you right now, you know, sitting here, you have millions of different potential life paths that you could go on right now to end up to a certain destination, right? You could choose to be the identity of these one of a million life paths, and that identity takes you down that path to a certain goal. You could choose to, you know, be a drug addict, right? So tomorrow you can wake up, decide to, you know, take drugs, whatever you want to do, party, and then you end up, you know, not achieving your dreams, whatever the case may be. You could also take the life path of being an NBA player, which you could do. A lot of people think it's not possible. You know, you're, you know, 26, 24. A lot of people think that, you know, it's too late, but it is possible, right? As long as you believe that it's possible, right? Because it is one of the life paths that will take you to your end goal. So I think what manifestation is, you know, what a lot of people need to do is understand that these millions of life paths are available to you right now. Choose the one that will take you to your desired outcome, and then just be that person, right? Be that identity of the person of that life path, which is a little confusing, but when you be that identity, you will start to take inspired action to do the things that that identity would do. So my dream is to perform in, you know, on a stage in front of thousands of people singing my song back to me, have a community on stream of thousands of people. What would the person that consumes that identity, that takes that life path, do on a day-to-day basis? And that's not me, you know, sitting in front of a mirror and saying I'm going to be great 10,000 times. No, it's me actually posting 3 clips a day, me making songs, me going to the studio, me, you know, working on ideas. So, yeah.
So why do you think that so many talented people with that belief or a similar belief still fail?
Dude, it's interesting because I was talking to my friend, and he's the type of person that thinks very like realistic, you know, and he thinks in a statistic manner. So he tells me, we had this conversation one day, and he was like, bro, like 99% of people fail, right? Like 99% of people, you know, fail. Like you're like 1% of people succeed, 1% of people become millionaires. You have to think realistic, right? Not all of us could be in the 1%. And even if that's true, right? Even if he's right, like 99% of people statistically fail and don't reach their dreams, why would I believe that I'm going to be part of that 99? Why not just believe that I'm going to be part of that 1%? You know, even if all the statistics, even if reality, even after, you know, I've been working for 3 years and still, you know, things are still not showing up for me, why would I still have the mindset that I'm going to be in the 99%? Why would I have a failing mindset? You know, why would I think like a loser? So I tell him, I'm like, dude, like I believe I'm in the 1%. Nothing you say, no statistic that you show me, no, you know, real life fact will change my outlook on myself that I'm in the 1%. So yeah, I think people do fail. I think it's a real thing. I think you can't have winners without losers. I think you can't have, you know, sun without darkness. I think you can't have, you know, rich people without poor people. There are going to be people that lose in this world. I'm just not going to be one of them. And I urge every single person that's listening to believe that they won't be one of them either, and they won't.
I love that you said that, and I think it's just missing one thing, and you spoke about it earlier. With that belief comes a hard work. You got to meet it halfway. You need both sides of the coin pretty much to make 50 cents, 25 cents, whatever you're going to use. Like, I want to bring up this story, and it's funny because my buddy Julian Dory, he was the 4th ever person I interviewed.
Sick.
And he changed my perspective on all this. He has over 1 million subs right now on YouTube. Wow. He does podcasting. He's killing it. I met him and his friend John Rondi, which also happens to have a podcast. He's also killing it as well. Julian hits up John. He's like, dude, I want to quit. I've dropped 240 episodes. This isn't working. 4 years in, I feel like I'm still not getting the numbers I could see. Like, I got the belief, I got the hard work. And John told him, just give me one more. Just give me one more. Every time he'd hit him up, just give me one more. And guess what happened? He blew up. You know what I mean? All that hard work finally paid off. Sometimes the people that even have that belief and have the hard work just aren't given it the proper time. They're too impatient. I'm not saying that he was impatient. He was patient because see where he is now. But I tell people at home and I urge them to be patient. I think nowadays, this younger generation, and even including myself, we want that dopamine of we got to get it right now. We got to get it today. We didn't go viral today. I put in all this hard work. I've been doing it for a year. Buddy, people have been doing it for 5-10 years to blow up way before you. Why do you think you deserve it now, you know?
Yeah. It's powerful, bro. It's resemblant of my favorite meme. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but it's there's two Pats and there's this one guy who's like mining for diamonds and he's going this other person. He's one hit away from the diamond and he chooses to turn around and go the separate way, which I think is always interesting. But I think the deeper meaning behind that is a lot of people are their own worst enemies, right? A lot of people's own inner thoughts, a lot of people's own inner anxiety. I've been doing this for 2 years and still things are not happening for me. A lot of people's own discouragement and comparison are their own worst enemies. Oh, this person was streaming for 1 month. This person's been making music for 1 month and they blew up. But I've been doing it for 3 years. Why is, things not happening for me? And they don't realize it's like, man, like you're not hurting them by thinking like that. You're only hurting yourself. So why are you ruining yourself with your own thoughts, right? Like what's the alternative? All right, bet. You give up. You don't hit that, mine one more time to get to the diamond and you turn around, but what's there when you turn around? What's there? It's a life you never wanted to live to begin with. So you might as well keep chasing. You might as well, keep working.
I like that you said that because what I thought immediately is when you turn around, let's say you mine for half a mile, it's just a dark hole.
Yeah.
You're just mining literally to a dark hole and going back to your regular life, whatever you were doing before. And that sounds mundane, boring. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. Giving up. So I wanted to ask you, do you think hustle culture is becoming toxic for young creators right now?
I don't. I am an extremist, especially when it comes to hard work. Honestly, with everything in life, I'm an extremist. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to working hard, when it comes to the gym, like I think if you're going to do something, you might as well give it your 100% or there's no point in doing it. And I think hard work fixes 99% of people's problems, right? Like I think this idea of hustle culture, which really is like picking one thing and then giving it your all. I think people need that, bro. I think people, need that to get out of their own depression, get out of their own heads, get out of whatever negative situation they're in. I mean, shit, it helped me, before I really went 100% into my music and, streaming and dreams and stuff, I was suffering with terrible, like intrusive thoughts, anxiety and stuff. And I was like, all right, bet, hustle culture. All right, I'll, work extremely hard. And it got, rid of that completely. So I think it's good. I think more people need to adopt, hustle culture, to be honest, bro.
So be honest with me. Are you chasing purpose or are you chasing validation?
I think I'm chasing my own self-respect. I think a lot about this, man, because I think chasing validation is going to be the thing that gives you all of the negative thoughts. It's going to be the thing that gets your ego hurt. It's going to be the thing that honestly ruins you, right? You should never be doing things for other people's opinions. But a lot of the times you can get caught up in that in the social media world. But I think if I really peel the layers back, what I really am trying to do, and I think the people that want to achieve great things are trying to do, is they're trying to earn their self-respect because they know what they're capable of. And I'm not scared of anything, but if I had one fearful thought, it's to not reach my truest potential. And that goes for all facets of life, whether it's the gym. My dad asked me the other day, he's like, why are you working out so much? You know what I mean? Why are you tracking your macros? It's like, I look worse than you, but I'm happier. I'm good. And I'm like, I just want to know how it feels like to be peak, to be the highest version of myself. Like, I just want to know how that feels like. And I understand it's probably not going to be the way that I think it's going to be. Once I have the Lamborghini, once I have, the best body that I could ever achieve for myself, like I know that I'm going to get there and realize that, what, it's not all that. But I'd rather get there and then realize it's not all that, rather than an eternal life of what if. So
it's funny you mentioned that because Reynoso, actually. We were speaking off camera about how you guys have a connection. He asked me on our episode, who would you want to interview? Like, who's your dream interview? Like, what guest would you want to have
I'm actually
on?
curious, yeah.
In the moment, I didn't really have an answer because I don't really idolize any figure. I want super interesting conversations. And when I sat down and thought about it, because you know how it is, you're in an argument and the best argument you have is when you're in the shower an hour after. So I thought to myself, I would want to interview the best version of myself. What would I look like if I did everything I said in working out, in work, in reading, and whatever it was? What would be the best version? I would love to sit across that person. Because if I feel like right now I could take over the world, what would it be like if I actually applied myself and took over the world? I feel like that would be the coolest interview I could ever have. That's my dream interview.
And you know what's so crazy about that? Going back to the manifestation conversation we had, like, if the definition of manifestation is how I explained it earlier, with you having millions of different possible realities that you could take place of right now, like, that best version of yourself, like, that's a possibility, right? Like, that's someone you could be, like, right now. Because all that is a certain identity of a person that takes certain inspired action. So it's like, you could be, like, the best possible human version of yourself. Like, you could be God, like, just by being that identity, which is, like, a crazy thought, you know?
Yeah, I completely agree with you because that version that I envision myself is something attainable.
Yeah.
At some points, it might not seem attainable, but working throughout this podcast, working out in real life, it shows me that if I take small steps day by day, it'll grow into something amazing. I don't need to wake up tomorrow and be at Diamond Gym hitting 300 reps for 3 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if that's my goal, and I want to go to Diamond Gym and I want to perform at the highest level and pass Diamond Gym, not fail, how people say, then let me prepare for that.
Yeah, but the only way to do that is you need to cut out all bad dopamine sources and replace them with good dopamine. And that's why people always say, it's like, man, like, I doom scroll, or like, I don't go to the gym, or I goon, which is like crazy how it's still a thing for a lot of people. But what people don't understand, it's like you're exercising this bad dopamine muscle, and the more you do it, the more you're going to seek instant pleasure. And the quicker you cut it out, and the quicker you look for sustained pleasure, like something like, I don't know, reading. Even though I'm not the biggest reader, I just started getting into it, but like reading or going to the gym, like you see, you know, prolonged rewards. Those are going to be the things that make you feel high off of life. Those are going to be the things that make you feel like the highest version of yourself. So I think it's important, you know?
Yeah, I could completely agree with you on that because even for me, the second I left college, I stopped reading. I was like, I've read all my life. This is the most annoying thing. I've never liked reading. I've never wanted, like, if I didn't have to read a full book, I wouldn't. A few years after, and then starting the podcast, hopped on the mic. I was like, I sound like a freaking idiot. I started to break down the reasons why. I'm barely talking to anybody because I'm working from home. So I'm not having conversations that are meaningful, conversations of depth where I'm actually learning something. And I'm not reading. I'm not writing. I'm not, like, hearing myself think out loud. It's completely different when you're thinking in your head and it's like, dude, that sounds amazing, compared to hopping in front of the mic, talking to somebody and trying to articulate a clear thought across a table. So I was like, dude, I need to get smarter. You know what I mean? And reading was my first step. And it wasn't about, let me read this whole book in this week and I'm a freaking genius by the end of the week. It was reading 5 pages. Because that's 5 more pages than I've read in the past 3 years, you know? And then taking smaller steps. Now I read 30 pages. Yeah. And dude, it has done wonders for me. I told you earlier, my earlier episodes, don't freaking watch them because I cringe, you know what I mean? Yeah. You might enjoy them, but for me, I'm like, this is what I was doing wrong. That's what I was doing wrong. But now I've improved on all those mistakes. Yeah. And even today, I'm going to rewatch this episode a month down the line, be like, there's more that I need to improve on.
Yeah. That's interesting, bro. I think curiosity is powerful. And my dad told me this story yesterday, and it was very interesting. He was like, you know, who praises who, right? Say you have a common man, and then say you have someone that is a millionaire, maybe a billionaire, right? Who is going to bow down their head first, right? It's going to be the common man, right? Like the common man is going to bow down to the billionaire, you know, give their respect to the billionaire. Now, say you have a billionaire and you have a world leader, right? Who's going to bow down their head, right? It's going to be the billionaire bowing down their head to the world leader, because now the money respects the power. The power takes over. Now, say you have a world leader and you have a priest, a pope, who's going to bow down their head, right? It's going to be the world leader bowing down to the priest or the pope. So he told me that, and it kind of shows me, it's like, man, knowledge is the thing that we should all be seeking. Yet that's the thing that most of us ignore in life. You know, we want the riches, we want the power, we want the girls, we want the Lamborghini, but we're not curious enough to actually gain the knowledge to become a better version of ourselves. And it made me really infatuated because I'm like, dude, like, I just want to learn, you know, as much as I can.
I think we're slowly starting to lose that scale, that curiosity that you see in young kids that have yet to be tainted by the world's mistakes and societal pressures. That curiosity, I feel like that's the difference between the people at the top versus the people at the bottom. The people at the bottom are done being curious. They're ready to live a mundane life, go to the office, come back, be able to just afford the bare minimum and live a happy life. But the people at top that never seem satisfied and they're achieving everything is because they stay curious. They stay hungry in a sense.
Yeah, man. I think you have to be. And I think people are not curious for two reasons. One, I think it's because they are content with where they are and they think they know everything, right? Like when you do something for 2 years, you start to lose that idea of curiosity. Something is always, you know, interesting when it's new, right? Like when you first get into music, you're super interested about how EQ works, how compression works. Once you've been doing it for a year, you're, you know, content and comfortable in your own ways, which, you know, makes you lose that progress. It's what Pharrell always says, like, you have to stay curious, you have to keep learning, or else you're just gonna fall off. And the second thing is that I think people are not patient. They feel like they're losing time. You know, they feel like they don't have time. And I feel like you could relate to this. We're, you know, around the same age, but it's like when you feel like you have to make it this year, you feel like you have no time to be curious because learning takes time. And it's like, man, if I try learning this, you know, for a month, I'm wasting my time because I'm not gonna make it. But it's like, that's the thing that's gonna let you make it. So you just gotta chill.
Yeah, it's actually insane you said that because that's a dilemma I've been having in my own life. And it's something we even talked about earlier where I felt like I don't have time in a sense. And that same thought process has stopped me from achieving and doing so many things. When I first started, I was like, I don't have time to learn Adobe.
Exactly.
I don't have time to learn this. And it has stopped me from achieving so many things. I'll say it again. It is crazy. Because people at 35 will be like, damn, I started when I'm 25. They wish they started when they were in my position. And here I am saying, I don't got time. I got this and that. It's an absolute terrible train of thought. And I'm glad you said that so I could rewatch this episode anytime I think I don't have time.
Yeah, dude. I need to learn it a lot too, right? Like right now I'm learning everything about YouTube, right? Like I feel like I haven't been taking YouTube as seriously enough because I'm like, it takes too much time, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you know what? Like, let me become a student again. I feel like we need to be forever students. I feel like that's something that people need to live by, forever students, right? And I was like, let me take a month, 2 months to like just learn. You know, it is productive to spend 3 hours just learning stuff. You know, productivity doesn't have to come with the result all the time, right? Like you could sit down and you could really educate yourself on things so that you can accelerate in the future. So I've been taking a lot of time to learn about YouTube, learn about every little thing. And especially if it's a transferable skill like sales, right? Like that's something that will be there for you, you know, not for a year, not for 2 years, but for the rest of your life, right? When you're 40, when you're 50. So it's never really a waste of time to learn things.
No, definitely. And I couldn't agree more. What scares you more right now? Failing publicly or being forgotten?
I love failing publicly. I love failing publicly because I think it shows people that we're human, right? It shows people that I'm big on documenting my journey, you know, so all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, I want to put it all out there so people understand that you can make it from nothing, right? Like it's really hard to find an example on the internet of someone that started from zero and really documented everything until he came up. You always see these people and you're like, how did they blow up? You know, it's not really well documented. I'm not saying they didn't work for it, but it's not really well documented. So I'm big on that. So I think failing publicly doesn't affect me. I think other people's opinions doesn't matter because 99% of people are sheep and haven't tried anything in their lives to begin with. And it's hard for me to also be scared of being forgotten because then you're living in the mindset of fear and you're lacking abundance, right? And I work on consuming myself with abundance every step of the way throughout my entire day. It's so crazy. Like when I was coming here, I don't know, I was just like looking at content ideas. I was like brainstorming content ideas. I was just thinking about stuff, you know? I just opened up my notes and I was like, I just wrote down like, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Literally just because I felt like it. Because I just wanted to consume myself with this mentality of I am the one, you know? That I am the best at what I do. I think that's important, you know? We could talk about this later, but I know we were talking about like the narcissism and stuff, but yeah, it kind of ties into that.
Yeah. Do you believe you're narcissistic at all?
I think I'm a positive narcissist.
Explain.
You know, I think I'm one of the good ones. You know, I think I'm a good narcissist.
I think there would be a lot of girls out there that would say there's no such thing as a good narcissist. So I want you to choose your words wisely.
No, I
the
think
ladies following you might not like.
I think girls should be narcissists too. I think everyone should have a level of narcissism in them. I think narcissistic behavior sometimes could be bad, but I think this term of like you're a narcissist has like bad connotation. I'm big on like I hate people that use buzzwords and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like it's too much. I don't look at life like that. I think everyone should think that they're the best, right? The way that I look at myself in my mind is I think I'm the best. I think I'm the best streamer. I think I'm the best musician. I think I'm better than everyone. I think I'm this, but I'm not gonna let that consume me to put other people down because I think you should also think you're the best. I think you should also think that you're the best to ever do it. You're the greatest hard worker. You're blah, blah, A, B, and C, right? And I feel like if every single person thinks like that, then every single person will be their best friend and they could achieve more. As long as you don't let that come out and you put other people down because of how great you think you are, you believe you are. So yeah, we need more narcissists in this world, you know?
Speaking about women, have you gotten any more attention as you started to grow a little bit more, especially maybe in LA? You said when you were going to parties, it was harder to get into parties, but with people knowing your name more, have you seen more women reach out to you?
You know what I've realized about women?
Talk to me.
And I was never the type of person to chase women. I've always felt like my dream is the priority. I feel like other people should also have their dreams as a priority. I feel like if you chase women, if you chase anything in life, it's going to run away from you. And I think women respect ambition. And I think ambition as a trait is one of the most attractive traits any single human being could have. And I feel like if you focus on your own journey and you work towards yourself and that passion comes out of you and you really want something really bad, I think other people find that attractive. You know, I think other people respect that. And I think attraction and respect are very rooted together. So yeah, I have seen people be attracted to the ambition. And I'm attracted to ambition, right? When I see that, you know, I think it's cool. I think it's rare, you know, and people like things that are rare.
So would you date somebody who doesn't understand your grind?
It would never work, you know? If someone doesn't understand that they're not a priority, and I know that sounds fucked up, you know? But I don't think it's fucked up if you're upfront about it, right? If I'm upfront about my conditions, about my circumstances, I'm not forcing you into being with me, right? If you want to be with me, this is how it's going to be. My dream is going to be a priority over you, you know, right now. Not always, but right now. And I think if someone doesn't understand that, then there's no point in wasting my time.
Do you think success ruins relationships? Because you just said it right there. She's not a priority in your life. Do you think that success, that even just striving to be successful?
I think it puts you, I think it makes you less compatible with, I think it makes you less compatible with 99% of people, you know? Yeah, because you're going to be busy, you know? You're not going to have time. Like, the way that I work is, and I understand also, and I'm very aware that this is toxic, but I'm okay with being toxic because, again, you know, I feel like every single person should have a level of narcissistic behavior in them. But anything that is not contributing towards my purpose and my goal is a distraction, right? I think people need to take away things in their life in order to achieve their dreams rather than add things to their life. I think they need to be subtractive rather than additive. And a lot of the times, man, like relationships and like people and love, bro, even though it's like, one of the great things about life, it takes away from, your focus. And maybe this is something where, I grow older and I'm 45 and I'm lonely, whatever, and then I look back and I'm like, man, I should have just been in love, bro. I should have just done these things. And hey, maybe you guys are right, but I'm happy to have my dream as a priority right now.
So the people want to know, and I want to know. I'm a parasocial, how they say online. Are you in love right now? What's going on? You got a girlfriend? What's going on with you and Sabrina? I want you to tell the truth. Don't hold back on me. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, I know. I get it. A lot of people are asking and stuff. I would say, I think there's nothing wrong with having love for people. I have love for a lot of people. And I think I enjoy spending time with Sabrina. We just did a Valentine's Day takeover. We just did a 4-day Valentine's Day takeover in New York, which was really fun. And I think a lot of the times it's enjoyable to spend time with another person, right? Like these are one of the cool things about life. But yeah, love is a hard subject for me. It's a weird subject for me because a lot of the times that's one of the parts about myself that I still don't understand. I was talking to someone about this, but it's interesting because it's this idea of choosing your battles, right? Where it's like you have two paths, right? Like one path is your dream, it's your purpose, and another path is like, love and all this stuff. And, right now I look at both paths and I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight this war, but it's like, am I going to fight this war too? Now I have two wars to fight. Now what's going on? Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe it's not as deep as that. But yeah, I have love for a lot of people. My mom.
That's the biggest PR answer. We wanted to try. And man, your PR team's got to be going crazy back home. They got to be like, damn, I taught them well.
Nah, my PR team's me. My PR team's me.
I know. That boy got trained. Sheesh. I wanted to stay on a similar path. Not really. Because I saw a super cool clip of you. A lot of people did. Let's start with the one that happened recently. You came back home. You had a clip go viral that Sinner reacted to of you and your grandma. How did that feel? After all the hard work you put in, after the mental toll that LA took on you, you come back and then you have a great clip pop off and kind of expand your audience a little bit more.
I think it feels good, man. I think it always feels good when your hard work pays off, right? But also understanding that now you have to work even harder to top end to keep the momentum going, which is a whole other conversation. But I like being proud of myself. I like working hard towards something and then getting a reward out of it, knowing that I earned it. And I'll talk about this concept because I've been thinking about it a lot. Because there's a lot of people out there that are not getting rewarded for their quote unquote hard work. They are not where they want to be in their lives. Even me, to a certain extent, I'm nowhere close to the top of the mountain that I want to climb. Now, why is that? And I think the universe will always reward people that deserve it. So if you are not in the position that you want to be, it's because you don't deserve it. I'm not in the position that I want to be because I don't deserve it yet. I'm not working hard enough because if I did, the universe would have granted me that reality. It takes a lot of accountability. It takes a lot of self-reflection, but knowing that the universe always rewards people that deserve it shows you that you either need to be working harder or, you're working hard enough and you have everything that you deserve. So, yeah, I think everyone, even if you're the poorest man on the world, poorest person on the earth or the richest person on the earth, I think everyone deserves to be where they are.
It's a great point you made because when I first started posting on social media and creating content, especially on TikTok, I was like, dude, why doesn't this have more views? This should do numbers. This is comedy. This is the best clip ever. And then now that I'm a little bit down the line, I got like a little bit over a year now. I'm like, The clips just suck.
Yeah.
The content sucks. If it's good content, it will get views, whether it's the day after you post it, the day you post it, or a month down the line, a year down the line. You know how it works. If something's good, it will blow up.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, dude, you just suck. And that's okay to suck.
Yeah.
You're starting something fresh. You're at the beginning. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. But important part is just keep improving, keep trying to get better with it, and get to a point where it doesn't suck, or at least where you enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then how can I get an audience to enjoy it and continue to grow? Like you said earlier, you put too much pressure that you don't have any time left, but it's such a freaking lie, especially when it comes to content. You see 50-year-olds make it, 60-year-olds, 70. Somebody's grandma right now that's turning 80 is making it big on social media right now. So
yeah, dude, most people just suck, you know? And rather at looking at your suckiness as a mistake and dwelling on that mistake, which in turn is just going to put you down even more and stop your momentum and growth, look at that mistake and look at it as a learning experience, right? Because that's going to be the thing that propels you. Be like, okay, I suck, but look at it as a statistic. Like, okay, this is showing me that this is not good. Why is it not good, right? Why are other people doing better? You know, they're not getting things handed to them. Maybe they are, but you can't look at it like that. You got to look at it like, okay, they deserve that clip going viral. How can I make myself, you know, deserve to go viral? And you just gotta learn from there.
So last episode, you said you don't believe in burnout. Does that still hold true today?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't believe in burnout. I think people who think that they're burning out are weak-minded. And I think that our bodies are way more capable than you would ever imagine. You know, I think if you believe that you can only run 2 miles, I guarantee you can run 5 miles. If you believe you can only run 5 miles, I guarantee you can run 10 miles, because your body can push you a lot more, and your mind is going to give up before your body does. You can push, you know, you can raise the ceiling of your standards. You can raise the ceiling of what you deem as hard work. And a lot of people say that they're burnt out, but they just don't want to push themselves the extra mile. And I will say right now and right here that I've never felt burnt out before. I may have felt a little, you know, mentally fatigued, but it's not something that I could have, you know, pushed past. I could, you know, I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing to feel burnt out. So yeah. And people could tell me all they want. Oh, like burnout's real. Okay, fine. If you believe in burnout, then you're going to get burnt out. And then, you know, other people are going to work harder than you know, because you know, are what you believe. So
you used to chase the dream. Now people watch you chase it. Do you think that's harder, having these eyes on you?
I made a video about this, and I think it's interesting, where you chasing a dream is similar to you climbing a mountain, right? And you see this big mountain, and everyone's looking at this mountain, and everyone wants to be at the peak. Everyone wants to climb to the top, and no one's going to do it because it's hard. Right? There's like avalanches, there's different climates, you know, it's really difficult, you know, it's lonely, no one else is climbing the mountain. But then you take the throne and you're like, you know what? I'm going to climb the mountain, you know, I'm going to step up and I'm going to climb the mountain, and everyone's gasping and everyone's going to be like, bro, you know, climbing the mountain, that's not possible. You can't climb the mountain and stuff. But you are, you know, publicly showing that you are going to climb this mountain. So you take the first step. And you're climbing, and people are laughing at you. People are, you know, mocking you. Oh my God, he's climbing the mountain. Like, look at us. We're here in the warm, you know, down here. It's so good. And he's climbing. This guy's falling. And you climb, but then you get 40 feet. And then you get 50 feet. And then you start climbing. And then you get 100 feet. And then people look at you and like, oh my God, like he's halfway to the peak. You know, he's halfway to the peak, and he's still going. Despite the avalanches, despite him falling, despite all the, you know, cold weather and stuff, he's still climbing the mountain. And then someone else from the crowd is like, you know what? I'm going to try climbing the mountain because I see he passed 100 feet. I see he got halfway through. So let me try climbing. And then another person starts climbing. And then and then before you know it, you're 200 feet up the mountain, and you look back and you see 40 other people. You see 60 other people. You see 100 other people climbing the mountain with you. Now you have a whole village, a whole town of people behind you, cheering you on because you made them believe in themselves. You know, you made them believe that it's possible because of your own actions. I think that's really powerful, bro. I think people need to be shown that they can change their lives, because most people don't believe it. And I think building publicly, you know, does that to people.
When was the last time you ever genuinely felt at peace? Because I feel like what you're doing right now, dude, is stressful.
Yeah.
You need to be streaming consistently. You're still in the building stage. You know, you want to reach to the peak you speak of. Dude, a lot of people can't handle that stress out. When was the last time you genuinely felt at peace?
I I think when I meditated, you know, this morning, I would say, I don't feel a constant sense of peace throughout my entire life or throughout my entire days. If I did, I would be like, you know, I don't know, like a Buddha randomly in the mountains or something like that. And I don't honestly want to be like that. I meditate every morning and every night. And for those 10 minutes of my mornings and my nights, I have a calm sense of temporary peace where I can let myself observe my thoughts. I can let my conscious observe my mind. And I do feel calm, you know? I do feel reflective. And I take a pause in this crazy life, you know, just for a brief moment. And then I move forward into the chaos, you know, with the more stable mindset, with the more, you know, sane self.
Is there anybody in your life right now that tells you when you're doing something wrong? Anybody to push back on the decisions you're making?
This is interesting. Especially building on social media, like streaming is one of the most public things you can do when it comes to content creation. And every single day I have comments of people saying, you should have done this, you know? Why didn't you do more girl content? You were doing so good. The videos were going so far when you were doing girl content. Why are you not doing that? You know, why did you move away from LA? You know, you should have done this. You should have done that. And I think listening to other people's opinions is one of the worst things you could do for yourself. I think most people putting their perspective onto you haven't done anything themselves in their entire lives. They're scared to even take the first step towards their dream. Yet they observe you and they think they know what's best. They think, you know, you should have done this and you would have been successful, but you never even tried anything in your life. You've never, you know, had the balls to chase your dream. So why are you telling me what to do? A good rule of thumb to live by is if someone gives you their opinion, you have to ask yourself, would I swap places with them in life? Would I become them? You know? And if the answer is no, then their opinion is not valuable at all. Their opinion is worthless because I don't want to be where you are in your life. Why would I take your opinion? You know? So if someone gives you, you know, an opinion and, you know, they paid off their mom's crib, they have Lamborghini and stuff. I was like, okay, you know what? I may listen to you, you know, because you are in a better position than me. So, you know, your advice must hold some weight, right? So
if you woke up tomorrow and nobody watched your streams anymore, who are you without the audience?
I think I'm the same, you know? I think I'm the same. I think the outside doesn't change who you are. I think vanity metrics like viewers in a stream or, you know, viewers on a video shouldn't define your mental state. I think the worst being you could be in is you doing really well for a week and you're happy because of it. Because then the contrary will be valid as well. You know, you do very terrible for a week and you will be depressed because of it, because you're attaching your self-worth to vanity metrics. And I know it's difficult, right? Because a lot of the times we want to do good, and when we do bad and, you know, we feel like we don't deserve it, it hurts us. But you have to detach from things that are happening on the outside, because you don't control things that are happening on the outside. You don't control whether or not that company says yes to your sponsorship. You don't, you know, control if, you know, this amount of people watch your videos. You know, you can only control yourself. You can only control your own self-respect, your own confidence, the things that you say you're going to do, and do it. And that's how you have to hold yourself accountable. That's, you know, the standards you have to look at yourself with, in my opinion.
I can respect that. Has there been anybody in your life that stopped supporting you once they seen you get traction, or started to grow jealousy? Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
he was talking about this for the past year. He's finally doing it. Like, fuck him, you know what I mean?
Let me tell you, this is the number one thing wrong with small streamers. The number one thing wrong with small streamers. I'm not saying I'm a big streamer. I would consider myself a small streamer too. The number one thing wrong. People will cheer you on when you're the same level as them. People will cheer you on when you're working as hard as them. People will cheer you on when you guys are on the same field. Oh, we all have 30 average viewers. Oh, we all have 200 monthly listeners. Yes, like, we're going to make it. I want to see you win. You're my friend. I want to see you get to the top of the mountain. And then when you start to work harder than them, when you start to get opportunities and they're not getting these opportunities, they start to look at you, and rather than cheering you on, they start to point fingers. Oh, he's making it because, you know, he's fake. Oh, he's making it because he only wants to collab with big people. You know, he left us behind. I thought we were all supposed to make it together. It's not my fault. You're not working hard enough. Don't point your disappointments towards me, you know? like I said before, every single person deserves to be where they are. And because I'm doing quote unquote better, that's not a reflection on the wrongdoings of myself. No, it's because you are insecure about yourself. And it sucks that it has to happen like this, but it's like the worst and the most snakiest thing you could do is downplay someone else's success. I've never done that once in my life, ever. And I feel like other people who do that shouldn't be trusted, you know? Hate always comes from the bottom. You'll never see hate come from the top. And I've seen it time and time again, especially like in the small streaming community of people that I really thought were my friends, and they just turn on you for no reason. You know, they go on stream and they start talking shit, and they start doing all this, and they say, oh, he's fake, he switched up, he did that, and there. It's like, bro, like, I'm chasing my dream. I've never talked shit about you ever, but you're mad because I'm doing better now, you know? There's nothing you could do about it. There's no point in acknowledging it. The best revenge is growing so big that you cast a shadow so large that it disappears them into non-existence. And that's the only thing you could do. You know, you have to be tunnel vision. You have to be focused on your own goal. And all of this stuff from the outside, it doesn't matter. You know, jealousy, people's judgments, people saying that you're industry plan, that you're fake. It's all noise trying to distract you from the prize that you're trying to achieve.
Has there ever been a moment recently where you feel like you're getting pressure from your parents because they believe you're not doing good enough?
Dude, honestly, no, bro. If I'm being completely like,
That's amazing. Yeah.
It used to affect me, you know, like when I was like 2 years ago, like it used to affect me a lot, being like, oh my God. But now, dude, I don't know. I've just trained my mind with consistent belief, like that I'm like already made it, you know, like reality just needs to catch up. I'm just working to collect what's mine, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man, like everyone's opinion, obviously, like I get, you know, hurt here and there, you know, for a brief moment, and I snap myself back. But yeah, dude, no, like I just know it's gonna work out. So even if they are like super disappointed and yelling at me, you know, I just know that, you know, it's gonna work out. Once I buy them the cars, once I see the house, and you know, they're gonna be like, oh shit, he was right, you know? So
do those type of things just motivate you to go harder?
Yeah, dude, 100%. A lot of people say, why are you thinking so materialistically? You know, not everything's about, you know, materialistic things. All right, bet, get a mansion, get some Lamborghinis, and then talk to me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I use it's all about how you use these things, you know? Obviously, like a mansion and Lamborghini, you know, all this stuff is technically worthless, right? Like it's all like soulless, it has no meaning, it's materialistic. You know, obviously I understand that, you know, like I'm not naive to that. But if you use it to motivate you to get up at 6 a.m., you know, and work 16 hours every single day, is it really such a bad thing? You know, if you use it as something to, you know, get enough money to retire your mom, you know, give your mom a happy life that she's always wanted, retire that, is it really such a bad thing? No, like I think sometimes materialism is good, you know? And I think people's dismissal of materialism a lot of the times is their excuse to not work hard to get those things.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I could only imagine the haters in the comments and just people in general saying like, why would I want to buy a Rolex? Like, why would I want a Lambo?
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't want it, that's perfectly fine.
More for us,
you know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm not huge on materialistic things either, but I have my expensive habits. Like I loved cars growing up, so I'll definitely in the future have an expensive car. I mean, I want a nice house, and houses are a medium-sized house that used to be $200,000 is $1 million now.
600,
so,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's like everything's a million. So it's just your metric of success. When you have a Lamborghini, when you have a house for your mom, when you have $1 million house, it's easier for you to measure your hard work and success because it's right there. You can hold on to it and grab it. Like you said, it's soulless and it's technically worthless because once we pass, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But for right now, it's like all that hard work. Let me measure my success. And if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. Yeah. I think it's so silly for people to come on the internet like, you're a dirtbag, your ego's through the roof. That's how everybody is. With these fitness influencers, he's got to be a jerk off because he's ripped. You know what I mean? If you got a Lambo, he's just a rich dick. Like, Bo's probably can be the nicest person on earth. He just decided to work hard and he has money, so that's what he wanted to gift himself. Like, what do you want me to say about it?
Dude, all these people, every single person in the comments on social media, they're all bots. Yeah. Bot city. You know what I mean? They're all bots. Every single person. But the NPCs are bots. Like, they're not going to be paying for your mom's rent. You know, they're not going to, pay for your sister's tuition. They're not doing anything. They're bots because they spend their entire lives judging other people, telling people what they should do, giving their opinions on other people. Bro, I have no time to give my opinion on anything because I'm working on my own dream. How do you have time, bro? How do you have time to sit there on your phone and comment, oh my God, Jason broke up with Sakura. This is crazy. Jason's on his revenge arc. It's like, bro, what are you doing? You're a bot. What are you doing? And dude, people just need to make something of themselves, But then it goes back to, what we were talking about earlier. 99% of people have to lose in order for 1% of people to win. If everyone was winning, it makes winning not valuable. So I'm happy. These people are commenting hate comments. They're judging and stuff because we need that, right? Or else winning would not be, put on a pedestal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one more person out of the race. You think that way. You close yourself in that box. That's fine. I'm over here trying to break out the box,
Yeah. You just can't get affected by those people because that's the number one thing that slows, people that are trying to break out the box down. It's like people pulling them back into the center of the box. It's like you just can't listen to them.
Yeah, once again, I love that you said they're bots because realistically, I might have written one comment, but I know for a fact I've never written a negative comment.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Maybe it's laughing emojis or I'm tagging my friends so you can see the video back in the day before shares and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, if you're working on your dream and you're freaking busting your ass every day, you don't have time to comment on somebody else's life, and especially if it's going to be negative. I tell people this all the time. This is probably the 100th time I've mentioned it in my podcast. It's like, my life is good. Why do I have to, if the video's negative and I hate the video, I just scroll to the next one. Why do I have to sit there and be like, Jason's revenge arc on Sakura? I'm commenting on somebody else's relationship. How about you go get a relationship? Have these kids, because half the time it is kids, but the grown men that are doing it, you're disgusting. Actually, go get a life. Go get some money. Go do something with your life. Like, I truly don't understand how people do it.
It's just it's unrespectable, bro. It's I don't know, man. I don't know how people do that because it's like you're commenting to put someone else down, So I don't know. I don't get it.
Is there anything you're secretly afraid people will realize about you?
No. I really am myself, on the internet. A lot of the times there are downsides of that because you could get into this pit of, overjudging yourself. Like, oh my God. But it's like, it's really good to be yourself, bro. It feels really good because it's like everything you put on the internet is just you, And like, I feel like if you're playing a character, you're always going to have anxiety to live up to that character. And when you're yourself, yes, there's a lot of negative things about you, a lot of positive things, right? A lot of toxic traits, a lot of, good traits, but at least you're yourself and you can own it. And I think humans are animals, so people could sense it, when someone's not being themselves, when someone is being someone else. And you could sense it too, like when you don't really feel like yourself, because there's a lot of times where we don't feel like ourselves, but, sometimes I still have to stream. My stream could sense it, even if they don't say it, like there's like a energy that shows, I'm not being myself, like what's going on, like I need to go back in tune with myself. Yeah.
What do you think about this? Because me personally, I feel like the content creators that are doing the best right now and blowing up the most are themselves. That era of putting on this character to an extent is kind of getting washed away. People are sick and tired of looking at the characters and they much rather watch the actual human being behind the screen being themselves, not like this personified version of them or this character that they're building. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true. I think people die for authenticity. That's what they want. They want to watch a real human. And I think people need to understand that they are the niche, right? You are a one of one. There's no one in this world that is like you. So people spend their entire lives, trying to find a niche. What content do I create? Where do I create content? And I'm like, you are the niche. Like, you are the content, right? Because there's no one else like you. No one else could replicate your thoughts, your upbringing, your perspective, your hobbies. So it's like, be you. And I guarantee you're going to find people that resonates with you, right? Like if you find 10 people, you can find 100 people. If you find 100 people, you can find 1,000 people. So the journey now becomes the path to finding these people. That's the equation you need to solve for. That's the equation you need to solve for, right? how do I find these people? And then, yeah, you just work hard every day to do that.
I love that you said that because I just looked it up. 8.3 billion people on this planet.
Damn, past 8? That's crazy.
Past 8.
Jesus, bro.
You're telling me once you're able to articulate a clear thought and create content that you want to create, you can't find a million people
100%,
that think just like you
Yeah.
on one topic.
It's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
When I put it like that, because when I first started, that's how I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, let me just get to my first 100.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to realize it's that compound interest.
Yeah.
You're just compounding the people that are going to keep finding you and realize like, oh, he's just like me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this dude's just like me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes back to what you said earlier. Through that, you're inspiring others.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, if he's just like me and he's successful and I got to see his whole journey from start to finish, I could do this too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing in this world.
Yeah, dude. That's the goal of what I'm trying to do, I would say, is like, you know, peeling back the layers. Like, I just want to inspire people to believe that it's possible, you know, to do cool things for themselves. And I think that's interesting.
Has anybody reached out to you yet and said, you've inspired me to do ABC and done it?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this before, but I'll shout out to my guy, Matt. We were just on the phone yesterday, but he came into my Twitch chat about, 3 days ago. It was like a normal stream. I was just talking to my community and stuff, and he came, and he hasn't been there in like 2 months, but he typed a message and he was like, bro, I know it's been a while, but I just want to say, thank you for inspiring me. I'm now making 5 figures a month because, of you and because of your words. And if I'm being honest, I brushed past it a lot. I was like, oh, congratulations, that's amazing. I didn't really think too deeply into it. And, I was like, okay, that's cool. And I kept my stream going. And then last night, I was looking into YouTube automation and like faceless, YouTube channels with all this, AI innovation that's happening right now. And I remember him saying that. So I reached out to him and I was like, yo, can we hop on a call? Like, I have some questions for you. And I was like, yo, so like, what are you doing? Right? And he's like, yeah, I started my own YouTube channel. It's like a faceless YouTube channel. And I've been doing it for a month because you inspired me, and I made $20,000 for my first month.
Crazy.
And I said, that's insane, right? Like, that is life-changing money. And he's like, I know, like it's wild, and it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm on pace to make $100,000 a year. And like, imagine now, like, this is just the beginning. This is 1 month. Now, imagine like, this is like a future millionaire now, because of your words. It's like, that's really powerful. And I really believe that, yeah, like, I think that was all him. That was him. Like, the potential was in him to do that. Yeah. He just needed like a sentence. He needed a word. He needed like 2 weeks of listening to someone to make him believe that himself. And I think every single person has that potential, which is why I feel like everyone should be striving for, them to reach their greatest heights. So, yeah, it's really good to see that type of stuff. A lot of Indians reach out as well. Like, I'm Gujarati. So a lot of like Gujarati like kids also reach out and say, bro, like, it's so good to see a Gujarati streamer. I've never seen a Gujarati streamer before. Like, oh, you're a Gujarati and you make music too. Like, that's so dope, man. Like, my parents don't believe in my dream and you're doing it. Like, how do you do it and stuff? And it's like, I love that because I get it, I get how it feels like to have Indian parents that don't believe in it, and you have this chip on your shoulder to make them believe it and show that like, yo, you could be a Gujarati kid and you could still make it in a field that's predominantly not what you are. And it's motivating, and I just want to see more people believe that they could do it, because why not?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's truly a blessing. You lived the life those kids are now living, and being able to reflect on that and give them game, give them support, and be that person in their life that you didn't have. You know what I mean? Because how many Indian kids did you see down your path that you were able to look up to? Yeah. If any at the time, Yeah. So that's really cool to hear, man.
It's difficult.
What do you think's harder right now? Trusting a woman or trusting the industry?
I think you can't trust either, to be honest, bro. I think you can't trust anyone, because it's interesting. When I was in jail for 2 weeks, right? In the beginning of the year, it showed me how little you truly matter in other people's lives, and don't get me wrong. There's certain people, someone that was like really, there for me during that time, which was amazing. And like, I always have love for people, but you always have to understand that people are their own humans, right? And people have their own lives. People are the main characters of their own lives, right? So when I was gone, it's like someone that could have been my best friend, like, they didn't text, you know? And even if they knew I was there and they did text, what happens after a month? What happens after 2 months, right? Like, they're not going to be crying over you every single day. They have to move on with their lives. Even someone as close as your mom, right? You know, she has to move on with her life, right? It's her life, you know? So at the end of the day, you really only have yourself. It's a sad feeling, but it's also a freeing feeling. Obviously, let people in your life. You know, you have to trust people to a certain extent, but don't be sad when they leave. Don't be sad when it goes the other way, because it's life, you know? It sucks. Shit happens.
So what's next for Jadyn Violet? You got any new big projects coming out? I saw you did a concert in NYC that, what was it, in Times Square Billboard? That was sick, dude.
Thank you, man. It was dope, man. Like, taking my music so much more seriously. We just did a single release party in New York, which went amazing. Like, making a lot of music, releasing it. The next big project that I'm working on is something that has never been done before, which I'm very, very excited about. I've never told anyone about this because of how unique I believe this idea is. But I'll tell you, I'm not sure when the podcast is coming out, but I'll say it because I really think it's like the most legendary idea of all time. You know, and I'm so excited about this, and I'm putting all my time into this, and I'm leading up to this. It's going to happen in about 3 weeks, but basically it's called the Glass Box. You know, and people have done renditions of this, but never like the way that I'm about to explain it. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a giant glass box in the middle of New York, and it's going to be a transparent glass box that people could see through. And I'm going to be live streaming in that glass box and making an album in 24 hours. And if people are in New York and they're walking past and they see the glass box, they can put on headphones, they can tune into the songs I'm making, they can watch me on the live stream, they can scan the QR code and join the live stream. But it's all going to be documented. It's going to be in the middle of New York. And yeah, it's going to be dope. I'm like so excited about it. I love like doing stuff like this, you know? So yeah, that's my next like big project that's coming up.
That's sick to hear. Like you said, I've heard of renditions, but never heard of that. It just sounds so unique. And that's what I love about streaming. Like, you guys are always trying to push to the next level. And that's what I love about you. You're not worried about the next person or this person. You're worried about, how can I push myself? What can I change in my stream to push to the next level? Yeah. You know, you're not trying to replicate somebody else's stream. It's like, let me create my own lane, my own ideas. How could I keep going? And that is sick to see you go, man.
I think you have to be, man. My friend told me the other day, and, you know, he's a streamer too, and he was like, man, like, I just want to, you know, I don't want to have to do big things all the time. I just want to, like, chill with my community every single day and build my calm slowly but surely and, like, just be myself. And like, you know, I don't want to have the pressure of doing big things every single time and having to top them off. But I'm like, but that's the price of being great, you know, doing something big and then immediately having the burden of thinking, what can I do to top this off? I can't rest. You sleep on a win, you wake up on a loss. Conor McGregor's favorite line, and it's so true because you can't sleep on a loss. You know, you can't rest. Once you have the momentum, you have to, you know, put your foot on the gas. There's no luxury that you have of resting if you want to be great. If you want to be the top of the top, if you want to be the top 1%, no, like, you can't have the luxury of just sitting at home, you know, not wanting up, you know, one-upping your last event or your last stream or your last song. Like, you just have to, you know. And you look at someone like Drake, and it's really inspiring because he has so many hits, right? Like, I lose track because of how many hits he has, but he doesn't look back and says, no, like, do you guys not see how many hits I have? No, he says, like, okay, I need to put out more hits or else I'm not going to be great. And that's just the price, you know, and he's willing to pay it. And that's why he's one of the greatest artists of all time.
I wanted to cut it right there. I just wanted to thank you for your time, brother. I mean, like, every time we get the chance to speak, it is a dope episode.
Yeah, man.
I love bro, you're like a well of motivation and also insight because, one, this is a different type of platform than your regular streaming, and I get to ask questions I'm interested in while the audience is also interested. And just hearing the way you speak about life and your mindset is truly inspiring, not only to me, but like you said, to your audience. So I said this last time, I'm pretty sure, and I'll say it again, bro. Keep going. I love to see it. Man. It's the growth you've had in that short time frame. It hasn't even been a year since the last time we sat down. Has been insane. And continuing on the path you're going down, I could only, the same thing you're imagining, I'm imagining even bigger things for yourself, man. So just keep going.
I appreciate you, man. A lot of good things are going to happen, and I'm very excited. So people are gonna see, you know.
Thank you for coming on, brother. It's always a pleasure having you.
Bless. Appreciate you, bro.
Of course, anytime.